Alright, what's going on YouTube? So I did a video like maybe a couple months ago, but it's one of my most recent videos on how to fix boxing. Okay, it was more like a rant. I didn't really speak on a specific topic. It's just that we've had a terrible year in boxing. You know, in my opinion, we lost a lot of the momentum we had in 2015, especially with the heavyweight division as well, because it seemed like in 2015 we was going to get a lot of good fights this year. And we really didn't get that, okay? We didn't get that, you know, and especially in heavyweight division, especially in that division, but in other divisions as well. You know, with all the injuries, you know, all the issues with Povetkin and Wilder, and Fury, Klitschko, Anthony Joshua, Klitschko, all this nonsense. This is why I haven't done videos, because one day I'll report a fight and give you my thoughts on it, and the next day it gets canceled, you know, or the next week or so, you know, someone fakes an injury, because injuries is becoming trendy to get out of a fight at this point. It's hard for me to believe that these injuries are legit, okay? But I'm not going to speak on that. I'm going to speak on building a fighter. I'm going to give you some thoughts on my thoughts on it, and give you some examples on how a fighter should not be managed. You know, I think some of these fighters have been poorly advised, especially these prospects, these new fighters, and I want to give some examples of that. Okay, I'm one that strongly believes that names, we gotta stop using the names. You know, the names, of course, obvious boxers that's more popular are gonna get more paid more. They're gonna get the better opportunities. You know, it's always good to be the guy that has a name, you know, but talent should be more important. Okay, guys should be ranked based on what they've done, what they're doing, okay, their activity, and who they're fighting, who they're beating. It shouldn't be all about the names. Perfect example, Robert Guerrero. I mean, he's been losing a lot of fights, and I thought he got a gift against Aaron Martinez. All right, we saw Aaron Martinez. I thought he beat Guerrero. I mean, he destroyed Devin Alexander, a guy that was a top welterweight not too long ago. All right, but these guys are clearly not that good. Devin Alexander is not that good. Okay, he's not that good. All right, and neither is Robert Guerrero. But because Guerrero has fought against Mayweather and beat Andre Berto years ago, he's still being used. He's still getting $1 million fights. And he's getting destroyed, you know. He's getting beat up in almost every damn fight, you know. And that's a problem, you know. And, you know, you got these prospects. And this is the main reason why I wanted to do this video. You got guys like Felix Diaz, right? Now, let's talk about Felix Diaz. You know, his name been making a little noise lately, because I noticed that, you know, I seen some articles on him. I seen him say, I seen an article where he said that Broner was ducking him. Danny Garcia, well, I'm not surprised. He's ducking him. Terrence Crawford turned that fight down to fight John Molina. Now, this is the thing about Felix Diaz. Felix Diaz might very well be a top 10 welterweight already. Based on his fight with Lamar Peterson, a tough fight, a fight that a lot of people thought Felix Diaz won. Okay, I thought it could have gone either way. You know, if I watched it again, might give it to Diaz, might give it to Peterson. I know it was a very close fight. All right, and recently he clearly beat Sammy Vasquez, and I had a problem with that fight. The day that they announced that they were going to fight, I had a problem with it, because Felix Diaz was to fight Louis Collazo. Okay, he was supposed to fight him. Which is a solid name, which is another name, but it's not really a tough fight. It's a fight that we all know what's going to happen. We know Sammy Vasquez was going to beat Louis Collazo, without a doubt. But for whatever reason, the fight didn't happen. All right, 2 weeks, and they were looking for an opponent, and they picked Felix Diaz. And that's poor advising to me, because you have Sammy Vasquez is the undefeated fighter. You know, I know he fought Aaron Martinez, which I thought was a good fight. But Aaron Martinez is not really that good of a fighter. Just because he beat Alexander, just because he beat, you know, or he almost beat Guerrero, doesn't mean that he's an elite fighter. I mean, or even close to it. You know, but it's a proper fight for Sammy Vasquez. Vasquez did what he had to do, stopped him, dominated him, and, you know, he's he's been one of the guys, the most promising guys at 147 on the come up. But see, if you're scheduled to fight Louis Collazo and the fight doesn't happen and they replace it with Felix Diaz, that's a problem. Because Felix Diaz is a guy that you go to full training camp for. Felix Diaz is a guy that could possibly beat some of the elite guys at 147 right now. All right? And you don't put him in there with Sammy Vasquez. You don't do that. Not in 2 weeks' notice. You don't do that. You don't do that to a prospect with zero. And, you know, and Diaz is pretty much a prospect too. You don't do that. Not in 2 weeks. Not as a replacement. You don't do it. And I'm all about making good fights, but that's not how you build a prospect. You're not supposed to go from fighting a bunch of average guys to fighting a guy like that. You know, even though he doesn't have a name yet, I'm not talking about names. I'm not talking about names, all right? Because these guys that's doing the matchmaking, they should know that Felix Diaz is a tougher fighter than advertised, all right? The guys that's their jobs to do the matchmaking to decide who fights who, that's not a guy you do as a replacement. Same thing with Antoine Douglas. All right, I don't remember the guy he fought. I remember his name. I know he's an Eastern European fighter that fought like Mike Tyson. Okay, but Antoine Douglas, I've been paying attention to him for a while because he's been fighting on Showtime for a while, and he hasn't fought anyone that good, you know. And I never thought Antoine Douglas was that great of a fighter, but you don't replace whoever his opponent was with that Mike Tyson guy that destroyed him, you know. That fight seemed very similar to the Amir Imam fight. And that's not how you build fighters. You know, these up-and-coming guys, as good as they look, they are not supposed to be fighting the same level of opposition. I'm not saying all of those guys were bumps, but they were all the same down here, the same level, fight after fight, looking impressive, and then now they fight someone that's much better, you know, and it's in 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks notice, and they get destroyed. You know, and Sammy Vasquez took that L. He didn't get destroyed like the way Antoine Douglas did or Amir Imam did against Granados, but still, he had no business fighting Felix Diaz in 2 weeks' notice. No way, no way, no way. You know, because Felix Diaz might very well be one of the top guys at 147, and we don't even know. We don't know because now people are gonna duck him. All right, fighters need to start fighting more, better in their hometown, either in their hometown or in an area where, you know, just like the Cubans, you know, like Riggin Down fighting in Miami or Lara fighting in Miami. Guys need to be fighting in areas where people will come out and pay to watch them. You know, these fighters are fighting in random places. This is why they're not getting any buzz. I just don't know what's going on with these advisors. I don't know what's going on. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, and going back to what I was saying before, you know, we're getting a lot of you know, like this year, we're getting, that's what I wanted to speak on. Charlo against J-Rock. Love the fight. I've been wanting to see this fight for a long time. I think J-Rock is a top guy at 154. But J-Rock has not gradually fought better fighters. J-Rock has fought decent fighters over his whole career. Either bums or very, very average fighters his whole career. And now he's getting championship fights against Charlo, who really was in the same position not too long ago. You know, Charlo really didn't fight anyone. He fought Austin Trout in a fight that could have gone either way. I've seen plenty of people say that Trout won that fight. I ain't mad at him. All right, I thought that fight was a tie. All right, that's my opinion. All right, those guys went to war, and Trout, not the best guy at 154 in my opinion, but very experienced, a vet. He's been in there with plenty of people at this point. All right, but I thought Jamal, based on who he's been fighting, I thought Jamal was gonna win, you know, more convincingly, and that was a fight that I thought could have gone either way or been a draw. I wouldn't have been mad if they gave it to Trout. I would have been mad. All right, but Charlo fights K9, and that's another fighter that I'm like, okay, I know he holds a title, all right, but I look at K9 the same way that I look at Guerrero, the same way that I look at Devin Alexander. You know, All right, they held belts. Okay, I understand that. But the talent is not there. It's not there. And it hasn't been for a while now. It's not there. They have names. That's it. They have names. You know? K9 is not one of the top guys at 154. He is not. And he hasn't been for a while. I know he has a title. All right, but let's look at how he got his title. Okay? He fought a Carlos Molina that has not fought in a very long time. Went down there, destroyed him, and that was that. All right? Yet, there's a whole bunch of young prospects that's much better than him right now. Any of them would have did the same thing to K9. Any of them, Charlo, both Charlos would have did the same thing. All right? Andre would have did the same thing. Okay? Lara would have did the same thing. All of them guys, J-Rock would have did the same thing. Tony Harrison would have did the same thing. Canelo would have did the same thing. Miguel Cotto would have did the same thing. Yo, all these guys would have destroyed K9. But now it's like Jamal, and I think Jamal is good. I'm not trying to discredit him at all. But what I'm saying is, they need to start fighting. They need to start upgrading gradually. Stop just fighting a bunch of bumps and then getting a title fight. That's gotta stop. Because we can't even tell who's really good. You know, and then when they lose and they get destroyed in a fight, it's like they got exposed. Oh, they got exposed. No, they didn't get exposed. It's just that they had no way of improving. You know? Not for nothing. We complain about Canelo. Canelo for a long period of time was fighting a bunch of smaller guys and everything. He was fighting guys, a bunch of blown up 154 guys, guys that were at welterweight for a while. Okay? But he slowly, then when he started stepping up, I mean, they were blown up, but the talent was it. Fighting guys like Cotto's brother, Alfonso Gomez, those are all still good fights. Shane Mosley, even though he was older, he's still growing gradually. So by the time he started fighting the real dudes like Austin Trout, like Lara, like Floyd, like, you know, all those other guys that he's been fighting, at this point, all right, now he got his experience in. That's what we need with these other fighters. Like J-Rock, you know, and I want that fight. I want the fight between him and Charlo. I don't think that's a bad fight at all because Charlo really haven't fought that much anyway, you know, that many people anyway. But I like the fact that they're fighting, but at the same time, I'm looking at J-Rock's resume, and if J-Rock gets knocked out, let's just say J-Rock gets knocked out. Can we really be surprised at this point? Because we've been seeing it so much. Let's say J-Rock goes in there with Charlo and gets blown out. He gets blown away. He gets blown away. Let's say if that happens. Can we really be mad? I could go on and on with examples here. I can go on and on. You really can't tell how good fighters are anymore. You really can't tell because a lot of them are being protected until they finally get their shot, and it's not their fault because some of these fighters want to fight the best. They're calling out fighters. J-Rock has been trying to get fights with dudes for a long time. I've been following him. He's been calling out and he's verbal, but he's just not getting fights. You know, because I don't know, maybe it's his visors or maybe because the other opponents are ducking him for whatever reason. But at least slowly let's at least slowly build on the level of opposition. We need a little bit more of that. I'm tired of seeing guys getting in there, getting guys like Sammy Vasquez. He should have never fought Phillies Diaz like that. Not like that. You go a full training camp for that guy. You don't get 2 weeks. Nah, there's really 1 week because the last week you're not even really training like that. You know? Phillies Diaz got the phone call, went in there and watched Sammy Vasquez up. A guy that a lot of other guys at 147 don't even want to fight. You know? For good reason. The kid is good. But he goes in there with Phillies Diaz and get washed up. You know, it's like, what is going on? You know? I could keep going, but I'm not going to make a long video. I'm going to stop it right here. I could keep going on. There's so many examples, man, I can give you. I can give you so many different examples, but they need to do a better job building these fighters. Make them slowly, gradually, you know, build up. I like the way they did Canelo. Listen, you gotta give them credit. You know, I don't like a lot of guys that Canelo fight, everything like that, but you gotta give him credit. You gotta give them credit, you know, because they have slowly built up. You know, Gennady Golovkin, he's old. Part of the reason why he's so old is because he took it slow. He was an amateur for a long time, became professional, and he's been slowly, gradually building. He's been wanting to fight now, and I think he's been ready for the real fights, but a lot of guys don't want to fight him, you know? But still, give him a good fight. Feed him good good opponents slowly. Don't just step it up. You don't go, you don't go from an average fighter, a C fighting C- fighters your whole career, and then go up to an A fighter. Like, you shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that way. That's why we're having all these upsets, because dudes is just they get into fights with guys that they never fought guys on this level before. So that's my opinion. I think it would be a more healthy sport. The sport would be a lot more healthier if these guys are being properly advised. And I'm all about, listen, names. Talent means more than names. If we could figure out a way to make sure, because listen, if you have talent, you're gonna be a name. If you have talent, and when I say talent, I mean keep winning. Talent, keep winning, find a way to win fights. Make adjustments in the ring. Those are, plenty of more qualities I can bring up. But talent is going to make you a name. You could be a name off a fluke, off a win that you got lucky winning, or a guy that you just matched up well against, and then be a bum against everybody else. How many times have we seen that in this sport? And then you get a name off a win that you had, yet you can't beat anybody else. How many times have we seen that in boxing? We've seen it plenty of times. Get one big win, and everybody else you lost to. Or some guys lose for that first time and never could bounce back from it. This is what I'm saying. Like, guys got to get in those rough fights, those tough close calls with fights, and that makes them better fighters. But when you go in there and just get blown away in a fight where you was expected to win, it's like, what? How did that happen? Well, I'm going to tell you how that happened. This guy is more talented. He's just not known. Okay? And the guy that we thought was good, if we really look at it, he never fought anyone. This is the first time him stepping up. This is the first time he's stepping up. So they need to fix that. They need to do a better job with that. Don't completely protect them, but let them grow gradually. Monitor, their career in a right way. Let them fight at the right places where they can build their names. Build the audience and everything. Let them fight in their hometown. And make sure they're gradually growing. Don't just let them jump in the ring with some of the best fighters in that thing. And when I say some of the best fighters, I mean not by name, I mean by talent. We getting that confused. At some point, we got the undefeated thing is one thing that people are getting twisted, and the name thing. All right, because the name thing is a problem. A guy that has been, or a guy that's just popular over winning one fight. Nah, let's look at the matches. Let's look at the styles. We get predictions wrong. Some fights we get upsets. Upsets is a part of boxing. But there's some fights where, like, if you watch a fight, we find out someone is fighting someone, and we sit back and we're like, let me look up this dude. Let me go on YouTube and look up this dude. And you watch his other fights, it's like, then you'll be like, damn, I don't know. I think this guy could pull off an upset. And then it happens, and you'll be like, well, damn, I mean, if they had watched this guy's fights and stopped looking and didn't look at his resume, they would have known that this was a bad matchup right here. I don't know. Some people might think that I'm contradicting myself because I'm saying that you shouldn't fight a good fighter, but you should fight good fighters. But it's when we're talking prospects, I'm not saying you shouldn't fight good fighters, but you build gradually. I don't want you guys to get that confused. Build gradually. Don't, examples that I gave, like Felix Diaz and Sammy Vasquez, that's a fight that should have happened, but that should have been a full camp train. Maybe Sammy Vasquez would have had more time to study this dude, prepare for this guy. It might have been a better fight, instead of it being a replacement for Luis Collazo, who Felix Diaz would destroy Luis Collazo right now. He would destroy Luis Collazo. But Luis Collazo has a name, and that's why Sammy Vasquez was fighting him in the first place. Because Luis Collazo is not really relevant right now, but he has a name. He was a champion in the past. You know, had some good fights. Had a tough fight with what's his name, Ricky Hatton back in the day, Andre Berto, you know, whatever. He's done his work. You know, recently had a good fight with Derman. You know, I mean, a good round, not a good fight, but a good round. All right, I'm out. Make sure you guys subscribe. Peace.